Welcome back, my fellow game developers, to a brand new video. And in this one we pick up a couple of coins, we get hit, so our life is 200 over 300, but thankfully we have this health in here, so I can buy a couple of health and upgrade my health. But not everything works, so you can see right here, because this is something different. This is not a health upgrade, I mean a health restoration item. This one is, and I buy, but finally you can see that I have zero amounts of money. So if I try to buy more, unfortunately I can't. Blame it on the economy, blame it on whoever you want. Let's not waste any more time and let's get started. Okay, so now it's time to start actually buying the items, and the first thing that we want to do is we want to have these texts in here appear when the player is standing inside of where is it, the box collider right here, and if he's standing outside that box collider we don't want to see the text and we cannot buy. So the first thing that we are going to do is, I think I want to increase this a little bit. So make this size a bit bigger from this, oops, 1 second. Increase the box colliders on all sides, make them a bit bigger, and maybe even make the box collider that isn't a trigger, which is this one, and maybe just cover the entire surface of this, whatever it is, the platform with the little plus, green plus. And anyways, with that out of the way, I'm going to do this off screen. It's pretty easy, nothing too much, and it always comes back to you how big, how small you want to make it. But there is something that is not up to you, and that is the challenge today. We want the text to appear when we get close. So get a reference to the buy text, use the on trigger enter and exit to set the text active to true and false respectively, and also create a bool that checks true when the player is in the player zone and false when he's out of it. So with that out of the way, pause the video right now and go do the challenge. Okay, welcome back. So I was just finishing up with these. First thing I will do is select these 3 items and make them the pickups. Yes, make the children also pickups. So now we are going to open up the shop items script. I believe it's open in here, and we are going to start. So first of all, I'm going to create an on trigger enter and exit. So on trigger enter 2D and on trigger exit 2D. Now we need a reference to the buy message. So in here I'm going to create a serialized field of type text mesh pro, or you know what, maybe what we can do is we can go ahead and just change the entire items, or what I mean is turn off the whole canvas and turn it on. So we get the whole canvas, we can turn it on and off. So yeah, maybe that's the better way. We can create a reference to the canvas in here, or we can create a reference to a game object. It really doesn't matter, but in any case, the canvas message, let's call this the canvas message. And now when we enter, because we just have the pickup and the pickups only interact with the player, so this will not be a problem. So in here, the buy message, oh sorry, buy message, I'm still thinking of a different variable. So the canvas message dot set active, or dot game object dot set active true, and then I'm going to duplicate it, and in here when we exit it's false. Save that. And then we also need a variable which is going to be a private bool in buy zone, and in here we are going to say that in buy zone equals true, in buy zone equals false, and maybe we instantiated it right here as false. So we start with false. We don't want to be able to buy when we're standing very far away. Okay, great. With that out of the way, let's go in here and let's select these 3 canvases. So 1, 2, 3, turn them off, run the game, walk towards it. There we go, nothing happens. Obviously, because we forgot to do the most important thing, which is the assigning of the canvas. So we assign the canvas to each one of those, save that, run the game, and now we should have fixed our stupid problem any day now. Then we go down, there we go, we press E to buy, price 99 coin, price 99 coin, and price 99 coin. Okay, great. So now it turns off, it turns on, and obviously the buy should also work. We have an error, which is something present in the current Unity version. Thank you, Unity, for this very bad update. Anyways, let's continue on. Now there is something to take into consideration. We have the three types of items that we can buy. That's good. Okay, so we can, for example, say if this item is so on and so on, we do so. But there is something better that I want to teach you in this video, and that is called the enum. I'm not going to go into the slides because it's pretty simple to understand. We can create an enum. It's going to be the item type, and we can open up the brackets in here and say that one of them is the health restore. The second one is the health upgrade, and the last one is a weapon. So what is the enum item type? Enum basically, in its simplest terms, allows us to create a new type of variable. So just like we have the boolean, the canvas, and so on, we also can create an enum, which is the item type. And now we can create a variable in here, which is a serialized field of type item type, and it's the actual item type. There we go. So as you can see, the enum has capitalized first letter and on every word, while the variable is not capitalized. It's in the lower case. So if we save this and go back in our game, look how cool this will be. If I choose the item type, let me close down the box colliders, you can see that I have a drop down menu and I can choose one of these items. And this is something really nice. And this is an upgrade from the previous section where the enemies each had their own box to tick and so on and so forth, and you have to untick something to tick something else. This right here is a much better way, a much smoother way. So this one will be the health upgrade, and the last one will be the weapon. Great, so now we have the item type we can choose to go from. But there is one more thing we need to add in here, and that is the item cost. So serialized field int the item cost, but this is not the thing that I wanted to focus on. I wanted to focus on something called the switch statement. But before I do that, in here I'm going to create the update, and I'm going to check if I am in the buy zone. Then I'm going to check if we have input dot get key down, open this up, key code dot e, and in here what we can do is, for example, we can start maybe creating if let's say the item type dot something and whatever, and start checking for the items and buying based on that. But we have in this case something much more powerful, and that is the switch case. So let me show you what the switch case is. So similar to the if statements, it allows us for conditional code execution. So if we have a certain item type, we want to call something different. If we want to have the health upgraded, we should call a different method than the one where we buy a weapon. So the switch statement is going to be very effective in here. And just like the if statement, it works the same way. We have conditional code execution, but its structure is a bit different and more efficient when it comes to things like these. So we start off by writing switch. We add the case switch. So in here, this could be anything we want. In our case, it will be the item type that we have. In case 1, for example, let's say the item type is a health upgrade. So in case 1 in here says, for example, health upgrade. We execute some code, we break, this is very important, and then we go to the second case. If the second case, let's say, is the weapon, then we execute some different code, we break, and then we check for the default. Now obviously you can add how many cases you want, 1, 2, 3, 15, 20, 500 if you want, but eventually we will have to get some kind of default thing. So what happens if we have no item type. This is something that will not happen, but just in case there is no item type, we need to have a default break, and then we finish the switch statement. So make sure you understand it. We'll see the implementation in just a bit, but just look at the structure. Breathe in, breathe out, look what it is, and let's go back into our code and implement this. Before we create the switch statement, we need to know if we actually have the money for this. So first of all, we're going to check if in the game manager dot instance dot let me see, do we have an access to the current coin? No, we don't. So we're going to create a public int and get current bitcoins, and this will just return current bitcoins. Save that. So back in here, instance.get current bitcoins, and if we have more or at least equal to, so if we have more or at least equal to the item cost, then we can continue on. And as soon as we buy the item, then we are going to go to the game manager .instance .spend coins, and the amount of coins we're going to spend is the item cost. But then what will happen after we spend our coin? We should get an item. So we're going to create the switch, and in here we are going to say the item type. So this is the case around which we are switching, and now we are going to open this up. So in case we have the item type dot health restore, and it's not allowing me. Oh no, so it's not the small item type, it's the big item type dot health restore. We put the 2 points, hit enter. In here we are going to well, in here we can either find object of type, and it's going to be the player health handler, and then we can go in here and what do we have in the player health handler? Damage the player. Okay, so add HP to player, add HP to player, and how much do we want to add? Well, we can choose in here whether 10 or 20 or whatever value you want to add. Save that, break, hit this, and there we go, save that. So I paused there for a second because I wasn't sure if we should use the find object of type, or if you want even better, create a variable in here for the player, so a private variable for the player, and then set it right here in the collision. This would be smarter and more cost efficient, because we know that only the player can be the collision in here because of the layer that we've set. And find object of type is sometimes a bit cumbersome. It takes a lot of space from the processing, a lot of processing power, because find object of type just goes through the entire list in your scene and then chooses one of them. So it depends on you. Whatever you want to do really is up to you. So where do we have the item? Right here. So let's choose the first one. Let's set the cost to 20. Or you know what, let's just keep it at 10, and this will restore a bit of health. And I'm going to go into the prefabs, and in here I'm going to add the spikes. So where is it? The pickups. Let's add a bit of coin in here, 2, 3 coins, so we have money to spend. And then we'll go into the prefabs again and add a, where is it, level object, add the spikes right here, run the game. So I want to get hit by the spikes. Okay, pick up a couple of coins, go down here, and where is it? So there we go, we press the E key. Yep, there we go, we get 10, 10, 10, 10. And if I try to buy more, there you go, we have 0, so I cannot buy anything anymore. There you go. So great, that seems to be working. In the next video, we'll be using the health upgrade. We'll create a separate method in the health handler. And as I've said, And by the way, this error keeps popping up, don't worry about it. As I've said in here, the find object of type, something that I don't like particularly. I don't like to overuse the find object of type. Goes back to you. I really hope that you try to create your own variable, set it right here. With that said, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you are saving all or staging all of your files, and I'll see you in the next video.